Have an ego. The difference is it healthy or is it blind? Does it make us being able to recognize our strength and weakness, or does it make us so weak in what we call our strength? Because once your ego is blinded, you start making lapses of judgment. You don't take warnings when people tell you this can be good, this can be bad. No. You assume you know it all. But you forget one thing. If we knew everything all, we never had exes, we never had divorces, never had some of the situation that sometimes we find ourselves in. That's to remind us that we really don't know everything, and every day there's a lesson to learn. And until we have, or someone has a teachable spirit, then until then, will you be able to be humble enough and say, hey, I think I know, but really don't know. We see relationships being broken. Why? Because one partner believes they know everything. Whether it's because they pride themselves in the academics, or maybe they pride themselves in power, or maybe they pride themselves in popularity or being famous. At the end of it all, ego has a way to blind even the wisest of them all. You could be given accolades and people tell you, you know what, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Until you go somewhere and someone tells you, no, you're not. Let's look at a little child born and raised in a home. Let's say it's a home whereby they're the only kid. And then they're told they're the most beautiful, the most handsome, they are this, the intellectual, and all that. They go to school and they're challenged. They realize, well, they're not as everything they were. Yes, the parent may want to boost them, to give them that strength to know that you can push it. But to the extent which the child thought, they realize the world isn't so appreciative of who they are. Or let's say someone is in a country whereby they have all the rights. They can speak the way they speak. They can do whatever they do. And they can always say, you know what? If anything happens, if I go to this country, I'll just say the name of my country. And maybe it has been working for many other people. But you happen to go in a time whereby your country really doesn't have time to care about diplomatic issues. And there you find yourself. Then the people of that community or country or nation tell you, come here. Let us teach you what it means to have respect. We see this sometimes with people who go to countries they could visit tourists and then go and utter words, vulgar, and even quite disrespectful words against a community or a race because they feel they're quite entitled. And then they come and meet the wrath of the community. Some get jailed, some get deported, some are even attacked in that place, and others, they are just isolated. And eventually they realize maybe it was a bad idea to come to that place with their big ego. A big ego will make a leader to look down on their own people and forget the advices of those around them. They are warned, don't do this, don't do that. This is the implication. They say, I know what I'm doing. I'm in power. Who are you? Fine. They end up making the decision. The decision ends up having a ripple negative effect on the individual and all the people under that regime. Eventually, it's already too late. The damage is done. You can't go back and change. Because that's the danger with a big ego. A parent could be traveling somewhere and their child is like, mom or dad, see my homework, or mom or dad, see the work I'm supposed to do in school. You ignore the moments with that little one, only for later on disaster strikes. And then you wish you can take back every word and every ignorance. But it's already too late. Life has moved on. And in a time that which we are living in, where everything is unpredictable, you can be at your home, next thing you don't have a home, next thing you're a refugee, next thing you're an IDP. In a time whereby you can fly to a nation, arrive, and the next thing you know, disaster strikes, there are lockdowns, and now you're stuck in a country, in a language, in a nation, you are clueless. And there you are. If you're humble enough, you'll adapt to the system. If you go with the entitlement, then you'll be in a lot of trouble because the people will be like, who are you to tell us what to do? We don't know you. Or even if we knew you, we don't care. Or even if you're from a nation that's very powerful, well, we don't recognize it here. This is our land, this is our place, and we'll tell you how things run. Before you know it, disaster strikes on the person with a big ego. Big ego will make you think you've seen everything, you know everything, but you don't. Because life always has a way to teach us. Life always humbles us. You think you're the best driver, good for you, until you miss someone who wreck you from behind. And then you wonder, but I was doing all the right thing. I followed all the right rules. Maybe the one behind you was also in the same way. But maybe they're in drunken stupor. Maybe they were high. Or maybe they had ill intention and said, today I'm going to look for a victim. You become the victim. It is very important to always understand that a big ego is the knock you get for your own disaster. A big ego will take you to places and spaces you should never have been. It's where couples undermine each other, where one is being given all these let's say seeds planted where they're told how beautiful or how handsome they are or how this or that, all that to make them feel good. Then it gets a bit deeper, and now they start feeling maybe I am like this, maybe I'm like that. They start looking down on their partners, thinking you don't understand me, you don't, and then they start looking for excuses for them to cheat. And they cheat only for them to realize because of association, they end up putting their lives in danger, or the person to which they were enjoying the forbidden fruit maybe having a case or a scandal, criminal charges, fraud cases, or even they have STIs and they've retransmitted, or they met a psycho who decides, you know what, you're not just going to enjoy this forbidden fruit, you are not living. Mind you, the partner thought that their partner was a workaholic, but they were working in other places, in their forbidden fruit. Eventually, your relationship is fallen. You get diseases or you get into cases you cannot get yourself out of. Big ego, why? Because you thought you're smarter, better than your partner. You forgot the humble beginnings that you started with, and now you trump or you beat your chest thinking you're better, you're smarter, you're more beautiful, you're more handsome. You realize one thing, life will humble you. Big egos will make you sit in a room and ignore the people around you because you anticipate them to bow down to you and tell you, oh, we know you know this, you are the master, you're the queen. But you forget one thing, without the people, you don't have a kingdom. And the list is endless to the dangers that come with a big ego. So what is the best way around? Simple. Be humble enough to know one thing, you don't know anything. Or what you think you know, you really don't know. That's why every day we try and learn. We feed ourselves information, whether it's digital, whether it's physical. At the end of the day, we only know what we think we know. Our brain is not too big for it to encompass everything. You just need an issue with your brain, and then you realize, okay, every information is gone. Dementia is knocking at the door. No one is immune. We all have made lapses of judgment in our lives due to a big ego, a warning that we didn't heed in our teenage years, only to end up in places and spaces you've never been to. Ended up being disciplined, not by your own family, but by strangers because of association with another person. At the end of it all, a big ego will blind you more than blindness itself. It will make you think that you're walking on air. You forget you're walking on land. There are cars, there are trucks, there are people. Guess what? You'll be rolled over. Big egos will make you think that the world revolves around you. But guess what? No one even recognizes you. Yes, you can have your blue ticks. Yes, you can have the accolades. Yes, you can have all the photos taken, all the glamour, all the fame. But I'm sorry, nobody wakes up and says, what are you eating and drinking? At the end of the day, everyone is going through their own hardship. With the economies biting the way they are biting, with countries becoming more unstable, with political issues, with political rivalry, with diplomatic relations and tense situations, people have other things to put their concentration on, not your big ego. But if you're humble enough, you can be able to be in a community, wherever it is, whether it's physical or digital, and be able to grow. But if you come with a big ego thinking that you know everything, you can do everything, and forget to humble yourself and forget there are people that are there, you'll come crashing down. Because remember this, before us, 100 years ago, there was someone who thought they were better. 100 years before that, there was another one. 100 years from now, there will be. But guess what? They're just a story with a different history. The question is, will you let your big ego drive you down that deep hole that you can never get yourself out of? Or be humble enough to realize, I really don't know everything. I'm open to learning, and I'm open to take to heed to warning, because every day something is happening. We can't control what's around us, specifically from the external side, but we can't control who we are and then the situations which we find ourselves in. A healthy ego, no issue. A big ego, to drive into places and spaces you should have avoided. Have a teachable spirit. Be able to know that you don't know. And be open-minded to say, fine, I don't know. So what's the way forward? With humility, with a good heart intention. But the moment you thump your chest and think you know it all, knock, knock. Your downfall is just knocking at the other end.